Hello and welcome. You're watching 84 TV Radio News Update coming to you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Adirayo Senami. The Central Bank of Nigeria has lifted the suspension on cheque clearing and directed deposit money banks to attend to customers who wish to clear checks. The Director of Banking Services Department, CBN, Sam Okojere, says this suspension is effective immediately from the 28th of April. The CBN had on the 30th of March suspended cheque clearing following a lockdown directive in Lagos, Ogun, and Abuja, as announced by President Muhammadu Buhari. The Central Bank of Nigeria, in a statement, says it reviewed the need for cheque clearing in collaboration with relevant stakeholders to accommodate users. The Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly in Nigeria on Wednesday passed into law the amended 2020 appropriation law from an initial 597.74 billion naira outlay to 195 billion naira to meet up with economic challenges created by the COVID-19 pandemic. Presiding over the plenary, the Speaker, Right Honourable Anekan Bassey, said the step taken by Governor Udom Emmanuel to review the year's budget downwards is very timely to cope with the economic recession across the world. The Speaker also commended the Governor for setting up relevant committees to fight the pandemic in the state. The bill passed through the first, second and third readings the same day and was passed into law after due consideration by the Committee of Supply, chaired by the Speaker. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development in Nigeria, Sadiya Farouk, has countered claims by the National Agency for Food, Drugs and Administration Control, NAFDAC, over the rice distributed in Oyo State, Nigeria. The Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, said her agency was not invited to test the rice distributed in Oyo State by the federal government of Nigeria, but rather it was invited to take samples of rice from Idiroko, Ikeja, and Ogun State, Nigeria, giving credence to the allegations by the Oyo State government that the 1,800 bags of rice it got were infested with weevils and unfit for human consumption. Reacting to the claims made by NAFDAC, the minister, during the daily briefing by members of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 on Wednesday, said her ministry got a certificate issued by the agency indicating that the rice given is fit for human consumption before the bags were distributed to Lagos State. She, however, said the certificate will be made available later today. The Commissioner of Health for Borno State, Northeast Nigeria, Dr. Salisu Kwayabura, says the state has lost 6 people to coronavirus in the last 2 days, increasing the mortality to 9. He said the number of positive cases, as at Wednesday, stands at 53 from over 160 persons screened. He regrets that the infection is not only limited to Maiduguri and Jere metropolises, but has also spread to Biu, Dikwa and Pulka, all in Borno State. He warned the people of the state to follow all social distancing and hygiene rules. In another development, the Kaduna State Police Command says it has arrested 986 social distancing and lockdown violators across the state. The command says 48 suspects among those arrested are religious leaders and beer parlor operators in the state. The State Commissioner of Police, Umar Musa Muri, who disclosed this at a press briefing on Wednesday, said those arrested have been charged to court, adding that the arrests are part of the state government's efforts to enforce the lockdown and social distancing measures recommended across the state since the 26th of March 2020. An Ekiti State resident, Mr. Femi Adeoye, has denied his son, who just returned from a trip to Lagos State, access into his house. Adeoye says his son must be isolated for 14 days, as stipulated by the NCDC protocol for preventing community spread of COVID-19 in the state. Meanwhile, the State Task Force on COVID-19 have commended Mr. Adeoye for refusing to cover up his son's travel history. Coming up after this break on 84 TV Radio News Update, President Donald Trump offers explanation for high coronavirus infection figures. Also coming up, Bollywood actor Rishi Kapoor dies at 67. Stay with us, details coming shortly.
Mental health and the COVID-19. It is no longer news that the coronavirus disease is now a pandemic. New cases are on the rise and the death rates have increased. People may develop issues of poor sleep, poor eating habits, undue irritability, and uncertainty. Some may also start to cope with the use of alcohol, substances of abuse, and self-harm. While all of these reactions can occur in response to a stressful event, it is important to share tips to help people remain in optimal mental health. 1. Let's normalize the conversation. If you feel anxious or afraid about the virus, remember, you are not alone. 2. Don't self-diagnose. Just because you have symptoms that are alike to COVID-19 doesn't mean you have it. 3. Plug out and limit sources of information to credible ones. 4. Develop a healthy daily routine, especially as quarantine is ongoing. 5. Focus on the things you have control over. 6. Practice social distancing, not social isolation. Utilize online channels to keep in touch with friends, family, and loved ones. 7. Avoid maladaptive coping techniques such as drinking and smoking excessively or self-harm. 8. Educate children, the elderly, and loved ones on social distancing, quarantine, and how to keep safe. 9. Take care of yourself by eating healthy and sleeping well. 10. Create time for self-development via reading and online webinars. 11. If you or anyone you know has a physical or mental health problem, please use your medications and encourage them to do same. 12. Reach out, seek help, and get help should the need arise for your health. Remember that there is no health without mental health.
Welcome back. President of the United States, Donald Trump, says the country has a high record of coronavirus infections because it has an equally high testing rate. President Trump stated this on Wednesday via Twitter, noting that other countries have fewer cases because their testing capacities are minimal. The World Health Organization says the United States has so far recorded about 1 million confirmed cases of coronavirus, with over 50,000 deaths. And more news from the U.S. 100 bodies were found in 2 rental trucks outside the Andrew T. Cleckley Funeral Home in Brooklyn, United States on Wednesday. Police investigated and found 50 bodies, which were not refrigerated, being stored in each of the trucks after neighbors reported a foul smell and seen bodies being loaded. The facility says it is forced to store bodies in the trucks when its freezer broke down. Former South African President Jacob Zuma has abandoned attempts to hold a corruption trial on charges related to a 1990s arms deal. A statement released by Zuma's foundation on Wednesday said the Constitutional Court had accepted his withdrawal of the application for leave to appeal against the prosecution the previous day. This paves way for the former leader to prepare for trial, where he hopes to demonstrate that he never benefited from any arms deal, corruption, or tried to evade prosecution. Zuma is alleged to have taken bribes of 4 million rand related to a $3.4 billion arms deal with French aerospace and defense giant Thales in 1999 when he was deputy president. The Supreme Court last month dismissed his application for a permanent stay of prosecution against him, after which he approached the Constitutional Court in another appeal. Zuma is scheduled to appear in court for the corruption charges on the 6th of May. It is unclear if the hearing will proceed as the country is under a coronavirus lockdown. In all, he faces 16 charges of fraud, graft, and racketeering relating to the purchase of fighter jets, patrol boats, and other military equipment. Meanwhile, the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa have told members not to return to work at Harmony's Gold's Target mine on Friday. The union said this as mines across the country prepare to start following the easing of COVID-19 lockdown directives. The Metal Workers Union said Harmony Gold Target has not taken the necessary steps to ensure that the workplace is safe and have failed to maintain proper health and safety standards. In response, Harmony Gold says it rolled out a COVID-19 prevention strategy across its operations before South Africa's lockdown was announced and has a plan to ensure a safe restart, adding that it has a medical hub at each of its mines. Mine workers worldwide are resisting going back to work in deep mines where social distances is nearly impossible and where they're sometimes not provided with adequate personal protective equipment. In India, Glenmark Pharmaceuticals Limited on Thursday said it will start clinical trials of an antiviral drug seen as a potential treatment for COVID-19. Sushrut Kulkarni, the executive vice president for global R&D, Glenmark Pharmaceuticals, said this in an announcement which sent its shares up as much as 9%. The trials come after a Chinese official told reporters last month that an active ingredient of the drug has been effective in helping coronavirus patients recover with no obvious side effects. More news from India. Bollywood actor Rishi Kapoor has died after battling with leukemia for 2 years. His family representative, who confirmed his death in a statement, said Rishi Kapoor, who was 67, was diagnosed with cancer in 2018. He returned to India last September following treatment in New York and finally passed away on Thursday morning. The Bollywood actor was a member of the famous Kapoor family, which has dominated the Indian film industry for generations. And that's it on 84 TV Radio News Update, coming to you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. You can join the conversation on our website at www.84tvradio.com. Please follow us on our social media platforms at 84 TV Radio on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at 84 TV Radio. Many thanks for watching. I am Adirayo Senami.